I have a rather embarrassing confession to make. Growing up as a chubby kid, my mom always told me that I just had a slow metabolism. Do you struggle to maintain weight loss but desperately want to feel good in your own skin, confident in your clothes, and improve your overall health? If so, you're home. Hey, I'm Sam, dietitian, specialist in weight management, and former functioning fat girl. I learned the secret of how to lose and maintain weight by simply nourishing my life well. If you're ready for the sustainable nutrition strategies, consistent habits, and freedom from a self-sabotaging mindset, grab your water bottle and let's go. You are receiving such great nuggets of value from the More Than a Number podcast that you can apply to your daily habits and health goals. But if you know you need a higher touch to help you on your journey, an accountability partner to keep you focused on your goals, investigate the simplest solutions to eliminate the overwhelm of being stuck like Chuck with your weight loss attempts, and an expert to help you wade through the weeds of the 10 tons of health and nutrition information from the interwebs that may or may not be beneficial for you, I have great news. I am currently accepting one-on-one coaching clients for my 90 Days to Nourish Well program, where we eliminate the weight overwhelm and get you to start achieving long-lasting results. If that sounds like what you need, click the link in the show notes, my friend, to sign up and start moving towards your goals. I can't wait to meet you. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Well, hello there. I'm so glad that you're here. It's time for another episode of the More Than a Number podcast. I'm Sam, and I'm ready to get started. Are you? Okay, so I have a rather embarrassing confession to make. Growing up as a chubby kid, my mom always told me that I just had a slow metabolism. And so for the majority of my life, my understanding or lack thereof of metabolism was that it was just this one organ within our bodies that either worked or didn't work, or was slow or fast. I understood that my metabolism was slow and my dad and my brothers were fast. It wasn't really until I went to school to become a dietitian and had to actually learn science for the first time. I know, it's so embarrassing. That I really got the full picture of metabolic function, and to this day have nightmares about learning the Krebs cycle and all of my science classes. So embarrassing, yes. But I think, unfortunately, that's true for a lot of people. I don't think that everybody really has a good sense of metabolic function. And so a lot of clients that I meet with, new clients, will tell me, well, it's just genetic. It's just my DNA. My family has a history of obesity and I'm obese, and so that's just the way that it is. So is it true? Does our DNA dictate our weight, or more specifically, our ability to lose and maintain weight? Well, the annoying answer to that, as always, is it depends. It's kind of yes and no. George Bray, who is an obesity researcher, is credited with saying, genetics loads the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. And I heard that years ago, and it's really stuck with me because it's so true. We have these two factors, but we only have control over one of them. So here's what I want you to understand. Giving in to our genetic makeup and family history, it completely robs us of our own health and body autonomy. It robs us of our ability of how we can play a role in that. So yes, genetics does play a role. We do have a predisposition to obesity if it runs in our family. However, we 100% have a choice in the matter. And to me, ignoring that fact is like, for example, learning that people who don't smoke can still get lung cancer. So I may as well just smoke. It doesn't actually make any sense. Sure, that can happen. You can get lung cancer if you don't smoke, but why increase your chances by 80 to 90%? That's silly. Certainly, we may be predisposed, like I said, to the disease of obesity based on our genetics, but we do have a choice to live an overall healthy lifestyle and do the best that we can to nourish our bodies and lives well. Our mental, physical, and spiritual health all play into each other, coordinate with each other. And within this episode, I want to highlight one aspect of the weight loss and maintenance journey that I don't think is really highlighted enough. And just to reiterate and make clear, there are things associated with our weight that are completely out of our control, such as our DNA and genetic makeup. However, there are still so very many things that are within our control, such as what we put into our body, our food and our drink, how we move our body, physical activity level, how we talk to ourselves. Are you being your biggest bully, or are you actually being your biggest cheerleader? And our spiritual connection and faith, just to name a few. All of those things are within our control and have huge impact on the result of what our weight is, our ability to lose weight, our overall health and wellness. But what I don't think that we talk about enough is how we engineer our environment, aka where are you hanging out? How do you set up your spaces and places for success? AKA laying out your gym clothes the night before, not keeping trigger foods in the house. And potentially, most important, who are you surrounding yourself with? I have been working part-time in drug and alcohol recovery centers for years, since the beginning of my nutrition career. And as a sober person myself, I can tell you that one of the biggest pieces of wisdom you learn in recovery is to fellowship with other sober people. If you have chosen to stop drinking alcohol, it's probably not a great idea to go to the bar with your favorite drinking buddy and expect to stay sober, right? Anyone with common sense understands that. So shouldn't that same thing be true with food? And we all have those friends and family members that we like to eat with because they have the same patterns, food behaviors, struggles with food that we do. And we like to go out and eat with them, or plan a night to hang out and watch a game, or binge our favorite TV show, because we know that we can binge eat without judgment from them. Why? Because they're our favorite eating buddies. It sounds like a little bit ridiculous to say out loud, but it's so true. Can you relate? Are you right now sitting there thinking about your favorite eating buddies? I know I have them in the back of my head. I know exactly who it is and what we would do. So it is a very delicate topic, because these can be people we love very dearly, and it can feel awkward to distance ourselves from them. But if we truly want to evolve as a person to become the healthiest version of ourselves we can be, we can't surround ourselves with people and places that are going to keep us stuck, right? Are you with me? Okay. So again, if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to keep getting the same results. It's literally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It just doesn't work that way. So the hard truth that I wanted to hit home here as it pertains to our weight loss journey is that we are in control of a lot. Our DNA does not fully dictate our ability to lose weight and keep it off, but we have to take control of the things that we can and work on those. You can kind of wake up your quote unquote slow metabolism by fueling your body with the nourishment it needs to function at its best, and surrounding yourself with the people and the environments that will support your weight loss goals is absolutely critical for long-term weight loss and weight maintenance. You know, in AA and NA and all of these group meetings, the main kind of message when you leave is keep coming back, because if you keep going back and you keep surrounding yourself in that environment, then you're not going back to all of those bad environments like the bar or your dealer's house to keep you kind of stuck in that bad habit. So the same is true here. And my challenge for you today is to really think about the people that you're surrounded by the most and the places that you go to the most. Write them down and ask yourself, are they benefiting or are they hindering your weight loss goals? What is one change that you can make? Now, I'm going to give you an example, but I also want to preface this by saying I am not telling you to cut off all of your friends and family. I think I've mentioned in a previous episode that I am Italian American and I have a lot of food pushers in my family. So if I, cut everybody off that offered me foods that I could be triggered by, then I'd be a very lonely person. Okay. So I am certainly not saying that. Obviously, your family is your family. And a lot of times I think in our heads, we think that these people are not going to want to fall in line with what you're trying to do. So as an example, one of those eating buddies, like you might be the change for them. You might be the encouragement and the motivation for them. You may actually say, you know what? I know we always go to the Cheesecake Factory and we always get the pot stickers for an appetizer, eat 17 rolls of the brown bread, a full meal, and each get our own piece of cheesecake. Notice this is very familiar to me. But instead, I'm actually really trying to make better choices. I want to be a healthy person, and so I'm going to start making those changes, and I'd love for you to join me. So maybe we could go to, I don't know, this other place, or maybe we could go to the grocery store. Maybe we could Google a healthy, high protein, high fiber meal, and it'll be a fun activity between us that we can make a list and write out what we need and go to Publix and get everything that we need, and then come back and actually cook together and make the meal together and eat that and spend time together and, really catch up and focus on the things that are important instead of just making it all about the food. And so you might be the one that makes that change for them, and they might say, oh my gosh, you know what? That's the best thing that you could have said, because I really have been struggling to kind of get on a better track myself, and I think that's awesome. Let's do it. In our heads, we might automatically be discounting them and thinking like, oh, they're not going to go along with anything different than what we always do. But you might not be giving them enough credit for that. And then, the other people, it's not that you're completely cutting them out of your lives, or out of your life, but maybe you just don't every single weekend go directly to them and plan out how you're going to hang out with this person and, go to your favorite restaurants or whatever it is. I hope that makes sense. So let me give you an example to maybe clarify my point about the change that you can make if it's not clear. So aside from my private practice, I serve as the bariatric dietitian for a hospital bariatric program. And part of my job there is to lead a monthly support group meeting. They're an amazing way to fellowship with other people who are also going through the bariatric journey, and incredibly beneficial to long-term weight loss and weight maintenance success. However, sometimes we can meet people who are more of a saboteur than supporter. So recently, a patient of our program, I'm going to call her Sue, who originally was attending all of our monthly meetings for a long time, but then was kind of MIA for a while and had not attended any of the groups. Well, she recently returned, and after the meeting, she pulled me aside to tell me why she hadn't been attending. Sue said she made friends with one of the other women in our group, and they started hanging out. She was thrilled to have a new friend going through the same process as her. Unfortunately, the quote-unquote friend she made started suggesting here or there that they could go out for unhealthy foods together because they've been doing so good, quote-unquote, so good. She would bake treats to bring over to Sue's house if they had planned to hang out. And then would make Sue feel guilty if she didn't have any of that. Thankfully, Sue was able to recognize the patterns after a while, and she called the woman out on it. She denied any wrongdoing and tried to make Sue feel silly for even suggesting that there was an issue. So Sue made the difficult decision to distance herself from that woman and told me she had been avoiding coming to the support group meetings because she didn't want to run into that person and get sucked back into her unhealthy behaviors. Obviously, she eventually decided to return to the meetings and said, she just came to the decision that she refused to let that person's choices hold her back from the benefits that she gets from regularly attending the meeting. So Sue was able to recognize the poor eating and lifestyle behaviors that her quote-unquote friend was encouraging her to participate in, and she chose to kindly just remove herself from that environment. I could not be more proud of her. Honestly, it's unbelievable to me that this can happen, but I think it's very common. And we don't have to be rude. We don't have to be unkind in any way. We can quietly and kindly just remove ourselves from those people or environments that are holding us back. And it's our choice. Conversely, having people around you that are also on a quest to become the healthiest versions of themselves is extremely motivating and encouraging to us. So again, how can you improve your surroundings, people and places, to set yourself up for success? Even at church, our church is always encouraging us to do classes and volunteer, serve within the church, meet other people who have the same beliefs and the same faith as we do, because it can be very encouraging to each other to have those people, those kind of sound minds around us to fall back on when we need extra support and encouragement. And if we are always staying in those same environments that have been holding us back, then we're gonna just keep being held back, right? So to reiterate, I am in no way telling you to cut out all of your family and friends. And I think that actually is why that this is not talked about as much or highlighted as much in, conversations that people have about our weight loss journey, because it can be awkward and uncomfortable, and we don't want to be rude. We don't want to ruffle any feathers. We, are people pleasers, and so we just want to go along with everything. We feel comfortable, even though we're uncomfortable with our bodies and we may want to change our health and our weight, we're still kind of comfortable in those same unhealthy patterns around those same unhealthy relationships, if that makes any sense. And so breaking away from that and really understanding that just because we, have a genetic history or DNA makeup of obesity, that does not mean that we're just stuck with the disease of obesity and we should just surround ourselves with other people struggling with obesity and stay stuck in our unhealthy behaviors. Absolutely not. We do have a choice in the matter, and if you want to improve your weight, your overall health and wellness, then there are a lot of things that you can do. And one small thing, but that has a big impact, is to really take a hard look at the people that you surround yourself with and the places that you are surrounded by on a regular basis. And how can you set yourself up for success by improving those people and those places? Capiche? And then in the next episode, we're going to dive into the best foods to support that healthy metabolic function, aka speed up or enhance your quote-unquote slow metabolism. Sound good? All right, guys. I love you. God loves you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Hey, friend. I really hope you feel empowered by this episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another friend who needs it? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It brings me so much joy to know this podcast is helping you. Okay, time to go nourish well, aka eat some good food. I'll meet you back here next time for another episode. I love you and God loves you. Have a beautiful day.